So in my last video, I shared this Asvine V126 fountain pen, and quite a few of you wanted to know what my impressions were of this pen and if I would recommend it. I didn't really go into that many details in my last video just because there was so much to cover. But after using it for 2 weeks now, I still enjoy writing with this, so much so that I got a few other colors. But what I realized is that this fine nib is actually really wet. It writes more like a medium, which is fine, but for like everyday paper and to practice my handwriting, I find it to be a little too broad, if you will. So if I zoom you up here and just do like a practice writing sample, you can see it comes out really thick, which with these Chinese fountain pens, you usually want to kind of size up. So if they say that it's a fine nib, it's actually going to write more like a medium nib. This could also be because of the ink that I'm using. The ink is the Hongdian, and this is the brand, and the ink that I have it in, it's beautiful. They call it their black green, which is interesting because I would call this more like a blue green. But this is how it looks. You can see it's a very wet ink here, but I find that it pairs very beautifully with this Asvine color. I love the gold trimming. You know me, I'm a sucker for gold accents and gold trimming, and I think it just kind of elevates the look. From my understanding, a lot of you pen friends said that this is very comparable for, if not a dupe, for the Pilot 823. And last year, a few of you remembered that I wanted to give the 823 a try just because a lot of people rave about it. So some of you strongly suggested I give this a feel first to see if this is something I would be interested in terms of investment wise for the real, like the Pilot. So I do really enjoy this for about $20. I mean, it writes surprisingly well, and I reach for it just as much as I do with my other favorite daily long form writing pen. This is also a Hongdian. I'm sorry. This is Asvine. This is a Hongdian brand, and it is the N12 for full size pens. I like how this it's a vacuum filler pen, and keep in mind, by the way, I'm not a professional fountain pen reviewer. There are far more and better fountain pen enthusiasts out there, so I would highly recommend going on YouTube and looking up proper reviews. This is just kind of a playful video showing you my personal collection and just my personal thoughts as a newbie. And I know I keep emphasizing I'm a newbie, but I truly do feel like I am a newbie because all I've known is the TWSBI for about 4 years. So while I have been using these for years, this is all I know. I was in this little ecosystem, okay, the TWSBI bubble. I was not a regular user of Pilots or Hongdians or Sailors or anything else that's out there. So I don't feel I'm qualified to speak on fountain pens fully because this is all I know. Just like, you can't be a food reviewer, and I've given this example, you can't be a food critique reviewer if all you've eaten are hamburgers and french fries. It's like there's other cuisines out there. But going back to the colors that I purchased, I like, okay, this is a transparent, what would you call this? Like a green, emerald green, and a vacuum filler, which I'll show you what that means in this new one, because I know it's kind of hard to tell with that. For about $20 on Amazon, you can get, it comes in this box here, the Asvine fountain pen, the V126. Okay, so it comes in this box, you slide it out. I really like the presentation. I mean, this is the same price as the Jinhaos that I've been raving about. The Jinhao, hold on, pardon me. The Jinhao 10s. You guys know I thanks to this community's recommendation, I fell in love with this capless mechanism as a grab and go everyday pen. And so I now have a healthy collection of Jinhao 10s. But, for the same retail price on Amazon, I would say, the packaging is a lot more superior with this Asvine. It's very, very nice. You have this clear clear case, which you could reuse. And I think this is very important. It comes with an instruction manual because they make different models and different makes and designs. So it's very easy to understand. I mean, if I can understand it, I feel like anyone can understand it because, I like details and I'm a very visual person, a visual learner. And I find that it was pretty self-explanatory in how to use the vacuum filling fountain pen. But here are the instructions if you need guidance. But then it also goes over their piston filler, which is what the TWSBI is. For a lot of my pen friends, that is what this is considered, a piston filler. Now the difference between this Asvine and the TWSBI is, the TWSBI, you are used to twisting it, right? You twist it and then you draw the ink up. With the Asvine, with the vacuum filler, it's interesting because you are actually going to plunge it down and then the ink comes up. But I'll demonstrate, I'll show you. I have a new one so I could show you because quite a few of you were interested in it, but you were intimidated by the vac filler, which I totally get. I was too. And right here, it shows you a dropper filling method, which I'm going to show you thanks to a pen friend's hack and recommendation on Instagram. And then, how to use a cartridge and their information. So I find this very nice to have. And it comes, look at this, the little details. Please check the note for using the fountain pen in the back. That was very nice. And then on the back, it has just more information. Screw the blind cap all the way when you are writing. Interesting. And then fill it with non-carbon bottled ink. Okay, good to know. So I won't be using carbon black ink. And it does even say right here, the waterproof ink will clog the fountain pen easily. So that's something to keep in mind because a few videos back, remember I tried using that in one of my Jinhaos and it got clogged. So now I don't even use those. I have this brown color. This is very beautiful. Again, I love the gold accent here, but it's still like transparent. This is like an amber color. Love this. And then these are all different nibs. So originally I got the fine and then I got the medium just because if I want to use, if I want to kind of dabble in shimmer inks, I can experiment with that. Or if I'm using a drier ink brand such as Sailor, I have an option because I know this is very wet, the fine. I'm curious to see how that medium is because it'll probably write like a broad. But we're going to do it here together. And then here's the second Asvine. These are nice cases. I imagine you can use these like for travel, like if you're going to a trip or a convention maybe, and if you don't have a carrying case. Let me see actually. Oh yeah, you could comfortably fit in like 4 fountain pens. Okay, they're kind of clinking together, but or maybe if you want to use like colored pencils, markers, put washi, or just use it for your sticker goods. This is nice. I'm going to definitely recycle and upcycle this case. So, I mean, I could see that part of the $20 package value. And then this one is the Asvine in the clear, like the demonstrator body, which feels very familiar. It feels like a TWSBI, right? Because this is all I've known. And that's what drew me to the TWSBI brand, was that I was able to see my ink kind of sloshing around in here and how full or how empty it was. Right here, you could see I still have not cleaned out this crema. I'm using like every last little drop here. But what's really nice about the TWSBIs is that you could see, if you're running low on ink, if your pen is skipping, you'll know, oh, okay, it's not the nib, it's probably because it's dry. It's dry on ink. So that really helped me. That's one thing. I do like the way these feel and the way they look, but sometimes I catch myself wishing, oh, I wish I could see how much ink I have. And then this is my first love, the 580 Diamond Rose Gold. And it always has some type of dark ink, if not black. So of course I had to get the clear one. And now I feel like it would be helpful too in this video so you could see how it looks when we ink it up. All right, so being that I do recommend this pen, I did not have any hard starts. It wrote right away, and I have not experienced any leaking. Really, there's nothing to say. You could see the only thing that I remember noting in my head was that when I went to go plunge the ink, it only filled up like a little bit. But I have learned a hack since then. Again, thanks to this wonderful community. I love this fountain pen community. I can't stress that enough. You guys are also helpful, so knowledgeable, so enthusiastic, and wanting to help. There's no gatekeeping, which is what I love about the fountain pen community, at least the people that I've encountered. No one's trying to keep, their sources to themselves or their inspiration to themselves. You guys share and reference other makers, other YouTubers, other content creators, and yeah, one of you referred a wonderful lady's video showing how to get a full fill, which I will link her video down below, but we'll do it together. So just in case you are interested in getting this Asvine and you want to see how to ink it up, I'll show you, because it can be intimidating for a newbie. Okay, that was me. I was like, what is this mechanism? This is so weird. I'm not used to this. The vacuum filler. All right, so here's a visual. It looks like, okay, looks like they already have this unscrewed. Okay, so it's kind of like this plunger mechanism, you see? Whereas again, like the TWSBI or like a piston filler, you are twisting it, right? You're twisting it and it goes up. I wish I had a clear one to show you, but I'm sure you can envision that. Now what you are supposed to do, get your ink bottle, and to fill it, you would dip the nib. But what I learned is that you're not supposed to put the nib all the way down to the bottle. You want to make sure that there's, a good distance. Don't want to plunge it to like the very, very bottom. Just enough where the ink can cover the nib. And you want this to be up, okay, this plunger mechanism. And then once it's in the bottle, you're supposed to push this down. We'll hold on to this, and you're supposed to push this down. Did you hear that? And then once it goes down, the ink, the pressure, it will draw the ink up. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this together. For the clear, I'm going to use, I was thinking of doing either Earl Grey or I really like this Robert Oster Thunderstorm, but I think, what nib size is this? Oh, hold on. Okay, before I fill this with ink, speaking of nib. Okay, so I said this was fine, right? This is medium, and then this is extra fine. I got this in extra fine. Now, if you just need like one color, maybe you just want like the clear one, but you want to experiment with different nibs. I play matchy-matchy with my pens, so I don't mind all of these colors because I do like this in the Hongdian, like I showed you, the blackish green ink. That's what I have that inked in. And this I'm going to ink with a brown. We'll see which one. But you can, on Amazon, you can actually get nibs. So if you just need a one and done, if you have self-restricted control, unlike me, and you're like, I just need one pen, then, but you want to experiment with different nib sizes, you can purchase these individually. So the pack that I have is actually, I did not, wait, did I see one that had extra fine, fine, and medium? There may be, but what I did, because I knew that I already had the fine and the medium, I just got the pack that had extra fine, because again, I know these are probably going to be juicy writers, so I probably want the extra fine because it's going to write more like a fine, which tends to be like my preferred nib, I'm realizing about myself. This already has extra fine, but I'm going to show you how you can change the nib, because again, this is something that I would want to know, and something that would be helpful for someone that's not familiar with fountain pens. Because, you know, to be completely honest, for the longest time, and this is my fault too, I didn't do too much research because I come from the ballpoint and the gel, you know, click pen world. With these pens, you're not really technically changing out the nib. It's like this whole, you know, barrel, and it's very easy and pretty straightforward on how you can like disassemble these. But each maker and each fountain pen is different. So if you don't know, you really don't know. And at first glance, you might assume that you can't take off the nib, but you can. And you can also disassemble this, which doesn't show in the instruction manual, which I think, you know, every design should, but you can disassemble this. You can twist this Asvine like that. Yeah, for the longest time in the beginning, I did not even know that certain models you could take off the nib. I thought like if I wanted to experience a fine or extra fine or broad, I had to buy like a whole new pen. Now I know with certain brands like the Eco, right? Like you can't take out the nib. But with the Diamond, okay, to be completely honest, I had this for like 2 years until I knew that you could actually replace the nib. So I don't think, did it come with the instruction manual? I don't think so. It's just with the help of the community and doing research, you learn these things along the way. So yeah, fountain pens can be intimidating, and you just, if you don't know, like you don't know, but hopefully these videos are here to help you, because these are all things that I had to learn the hard way, or the financial investment way. So yes, you can change out the nib. Now for this Asvine, you're going to twist it. I think some you can pull, but this one you twist. Hold on. This one's really hard. Sometimes you feel like you're going to break it. Okay, so you just keep twisting it. And then it comes out. And that's where you would put in the new one. And then you would do the same, okay? So that's just to show you that you can change out the nibs with these Asvine. So if you like the body, but you're like, oh, this is a gusher. Maybe I don't want a medium. Maybe I don't want a fine. Or maybe you want all three, but you just want one pen. And you don't want to spend the money on getting 3 new pens. That's something to keep in mind. Now, hold on. Before we ink this up, this is the hack that one of you pen friends, thank you Dan, by the way, on Instagram, you shared this with me because, you know, you strongly recommend that I try the Asvine V126 along with a few others, but you see how I disassembled this pen? Okay, so if you're intimidated by this plunger mechanism on filling it, what you would do, make sure that this is, you know, down like that. Did you hear that? Okay. And if you look closely, you could see you can actually fill this with ink. The plunger is not covering it all the way. There's a little bit of room. So you can get your syringe. You don't necessarily need this. I mean, you could use this part because then it could kind of, you could see it could squeeze like in there, or you could just do it without and then use your ink. These are really good for like those samples, and then you can draw up like every little bit here, and then just carefully just kind of plunge it in, and then it will fill this way. From my understanding, this is about I think you get a full, how much is this? I think it's like 2 mil or 2.3 mil or 2.5. It's pretty comparable again to like the Pilot 823. That's why a lot of you are recommending I check this out, because you can get a good amount. I think the TWSBI was like 1.8. Let me see the TWSBI, because technically the ink starts like right here. yeah, you can get like a little bit more, but you don't want to fill this completely full. And if you're trying to imagine, maybe you don't have a TWSBI and you're like, well, how much is a mil? Okay, I'll show you. It is right here. Okay, if you're familiar with Pilot, you know, those little free cartridges that you get. Oh, okay, it's not really free, but if you get like the Kakuno, or if you have like a Pilot Prera, or like even the Metropolitan, the Pilot. This, because I kind of like measured it out here. This one full fill is 1 mil. Okay, so this Asvine can comfortably get like 2.5, maybe like 2.5 of these in here. So that's just to give you a visual of how much ink. And then with the TWSBI, it is about 2 of these little cartridges to give you a visual. Because again, when I was new, I could not picture, well, how many mils is a mil? Like, how much ink is that? And this is very helpful to know, because if you go on retailers' websites that offer ink samples and you're trying to figure out how many fills you can get, something like knowing how much a TWSBI holds will give you a better idea of how much ink, you know, the sample will get you or will last. So if I'm using these little capsules or these little cartridges, not capsules, cartridges, and I'm ordering like a full like 5 mil, then I know, okay, I can get 5 good fills of this. Or if I'm using, again, the Asvine, okay, I can get like, you know, 2 good fills of this. If it's not completely full, like 2. All right, let's go ahead and get with the inking. And again, like I always have to stress this, I'm not a professional pen reviewer. I'm just showing you how I use my fountain pens for those that are like dipping their toes in the fountain pen rabbit hole like I was, or I guess I still am. I'm just kind of trying to break it down in simpler ways to understand, because when I was getting into this, I didn't understand certain terminologies that people would use when they were talking about like the threading and the step down and the feed. Like, I need a visual, like, what does threading mean, you know? So, you know, the threading is like the little where the cap goes, the threading here. The step down is like where it steps down. So I need things like broken down or I need a visual representation. You know, with my ADHD mind, sometimes I can't comprehend all these technical terms without any visual examples. Okay, now let's go ahead and, well, we could do I feel like this, because it's clear, let's go ahead and do it the plunging way, right? Because this I can do with the syringe. Okay. With the clear ink, I think I'm going to go with Earl Grey. Yeah, just because I feel like a lot of people have this ink and they're familiar with it. So we'll see how it writes in this extra fine. So, okay, we'll go ahead and get this. And then again, you want to make sure that you are pulling this part, okay? Unscrew it and then pull it back. And then this is where you are going to just stick the nib in. And I'm trying to get a visual to make sure, you know, like where my ink is. And I have, let me get my napkin. Hold on. Make sure you have a napkin. And I'm going to kind of do it at an angle to see if maybe you could see it. Okay, so I'm going to dip it in there, and then I'm going to push it down, okay? And then you should be able to see the ink come up. So I'm pushing. You can see the plunge going down. Okay, wait, hold on. Wait a second. Okay, hold on. Let me push it down a little bit more. Oh, see, that's another thing too. Maybe some of the openings maybe they won't be wide enough. maybe my ink is, oh, I think okay, you know what? Oh, it looks like it's covering it. Let me try again. My Earl Grey may be a little too low. Let's try again. So I'm just gonna push it. I think it's working. Okay. Okay, you see? So it did draw up some ink, but it didn't fill up all the way. And a lot of you said that happens with the vac filler, which I wasn't familiar with. I thought I was doing something wrong. So I guess that's normal. Okay, so when that happens, then this is that hack that I saw a few of you recommended. The lady showed that, I'm trying to think, she got the air bubble out, and then she drew the plunger part back. Okay, she drew it back. To like where the ink is at. And then you're going to push it down again. I hope it'll reach it. Okay, so I'm going to dip it back in. I can see the ink. Okay, and then I'm just going to push it and we'll see if it fills it again. Okay, yeah, I would say it worked because now it's even like it's fuller. So it's going up and up, but I'm not going to keep going up because I know I'm not going to want to use this Earl Grey for that long. And I don't want to waste all of this ink. I know I'm going to get tired of my Earl Grey by the time I could actually use this up. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean the rim here, the edge. Wipe that off. Okay, and then you want to make sure you fasten this. Now, if I'm doing something wrong, please feel free to correct me down in the comments. Again, like I'm still learning. If I misspoke or did something incorrectly, I don't want to show anyone the wrong way or misguide them. Now let's go ahead and do a little scribble test. And see how this extra fine. This is at the extra fine. Okay, this is perfect because here is the, oops, I still have some ink. Hold on. Okay, so I still have some, this is the last example I did here comparing Mystic Storm by Robert Oster. This is beautiful, but it's very similar to the Earl Grey. And this is with the glass nib, but let's see how it writes. Ooh, yeah, I like, again, it says extra fine, but I'm finding that this Asvine, it writes to me, now this writes, I don't know, it feels like a fine to me, even though it says extra fine. Yeah, this is definitely not an extra fine. This is still like a fine, which I don't mind though. I don't mind. This is perfect for me. This is a very, again, smooth writer, as you can see. I don't have any skipping or problems with it. It flows beautifully. I like the way this Earl Grey is looking on here. And I do like this clear body. Again, it feels very familiar, like the TWSBI. Let's go ahead and quickly do the amber or the brown. I think they just call it brown. And we're going to just do this the easy way. We're going to unscrew. Okay, we're going to unscrew this and then just fill it this way instead of the whole plunger. Now, this would be a lot easier because, again, if you want this filled to the max, these you can get on Amazon or anywhere, really. You just fill this and perfect. There you go. Boom. With a Pilot, see, I don't have the Pilot 823, but I'm thinking, does it disassemble in the middle? Maybe not, right? I don't think so. I don't know. Someone that can compare, let me know. But my pen friend, Dan, he actually said that he actually, you know, he uses the Asvine V126 more than his Pilot 823. And he still, you know, encouraged me to check out the 823, but he said that this is still a pleasurable writing experience that is, yeah, it's still a lovely pen. But the 823 has like a real gold nib. Okay, so this, my ink is a little further down, so I am going to need my blunt tip right here. And I'm going to just go ahead and draw this in. By the way, I do have, okay, hold on, let me draw this up. I do have my, is there a bubble? Hold on, you guys. My Pilot. Okay, some of you were asking like, what Pilot pens did I get? I will have to share that in the next video because this video is about the Asvine. A lot of you wanted details on the Asvine, so I don't want to mix. I'll keep that to a dedicated video. Okay, so you see here I drew up the ink. And I'm just going to put this in. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay, I don't want to fill it too much. Actually, this is just for demonstration purposes. You could see like, wow, it's a lot. And I drew this all the way up pretty far, probably to, I didn't even realize, I wasn't watching. Was it 4 mil? Oh, that's a lot. Okay, hold on, let me draw some out. Only because I don't want to waste this ink. I know I'm going to get tired of it, but just enough. Okay, I'm pulling some out here. This is Diamine. Diamine Ochre. I feel like Ancient Copper would have been an obvious one for this, but you know, I use that so often. I'm going to use this one. I almost wanted to use my sesame oil, but I already have that inked up, and I'm going to give Diamine Ochre a chance. So we're just going to go ahead and twist this back. I know this video is really like longer than it needs to be. Sorry, we're just hanging out here, guys. We're just hanging out like we're friends. And make sure you screw this. From what I was told, if you're doing like longer writing sessions, like pages and pages, then you want to leave it unscrewed. Don't pull the plunge, but leave it unscrewed so that way the flow of the ink can go into the feed. But if you're going to be traveling or you know you're not going to write that much, then yeah, you definitely want to make sure that this is closed here. So I'm just gonna do it like a little bit here just to see how the ink comes out. And remember, this is the medium. All right, so let's go ahead and see how this writes. This is the, hold on. Oh, maybe I should open it. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, you know what? It's not primed here. Like, 'cause I didn't dip it in the pen. I was wondering, why isn't it writing? It needs to go down in the feed. Okay. Let me, how much time will it need? Oh, actually, there we go. Never mind. Just as I was about to dip it, that was pretty fast. Okay. Whew, I got scared there. I thought I had like a dud nib. Ooh, this is nice. This is, oh, very smooth. Okay, so this is the medium nib. Again, this is Asvine. Diamine Ochre medium. Some of you, I noticed some reviewers will talk about like the back, like if it will write like this. Does that matter? You know, I'm new, so I don't know. When would someone want to write like this? Or is it more like if you're sketching, or is it for calligraphy purposes, where like if you want a maybe a thick downstroke, and then you want to, I don't know, do like a fine line? Is that why people do that? I mean, I think that's kind of cool that this writes backwards too, or on the other side. I like this medium nib. I thought it was going to be gushier, but again, the brand of ink matters too. And this is actually not too gushy. Like for me, oh, I feel like my, okay, let's do a comparison. I'm gonna write the same word down here. Let's say Asvine. Oh no, I can see. Yeah, no, I can see that's thicker now. Now that the ink is still coming down. Asvine medium. Oh yeah, I like this. Wow. And you guys know I like my brown family. Oh, this is a great match. Okay, let's try this in the, this is their green color, but fine. This is the fine nib, not medium. Whoa, you see how, I think it's the ink. I said that the Hongdian inks, they are wet. So even though this says, yeah, fine, with this Hongdian black green, it writes, it looks pretty comparable to the medium. Does it write backwards? Oh yeah, it does. And then let me do these line strokes right here, comparing it. Oops. And then let's go ahead and get the extra fine with the Earl Grey. Does it write backwards? Oops. Yeah, it does. All right, so that is the look at the Asvine V126. I think if you are like me and you enjoy like Twisbies, you might find this a very budget-friendly option, because I think the Ecos now are retailing, well, actually I think they're pretty comparable. Wait, how much are the, I think it depends on which ones you get. The Ecos can run anywhere from, what is it, $35 to $55, whichever, I think, make or model that you get. You know, the 580, this is going to be like $80. And these, again, on Amazon, I think these were like 20 bucks. Maybe you can find them on AliExpress for a good deal. But I like going through Amazon, because if you get, you know, like a dud nib, like if it doesn't work or something happens to it, you have 30 days to return it. And maybe you can do that with AliExpress, but you guys, it takes forever. Like the shipping to receive it takes a couple weeks, and I'm not familiar with AliExpress's return policy, so I'm not sure how easy it is to send it and then get the refund. With Amazon, it's instant. You go and you return it and you get your money back right away, no questions asked. So I like these. I like these. I guess my question would be, for those that own the 823, is the feel of this Asvine exactly identical to the Pilot 823? Like the barrel? Mainly, it's, yeah, primarily the barrel I'm interested in, because you could cap these, but yeah, this is nice. I feel like the little bit of weight on the top is just a little too much for my liking for like long form writing. But if you have like bigger hands, or if you like a little bit more of a heft, you could easily cap these pens. I find that the size, though, it's comfortable where you don't even need to cap these. But with the Pilot, is the barrel size the same? Because that is one thing I'm learning about my fountain pen journey. I kind of like, well, I shouldn't say I prefer girthier barrels. I was just surprised that I found them pleasant to write with. So I'm trying to align this. Wow, I really like this amber color, this brown. I like all of them. I like all of them. So yeah, I'm glad to have these in, in my collection. It's beautiful. But this one, I find, I think it's oh my gosh, exactly why I don't trust myself with really, really expensive fountain pens, because can you imagine if that was like my Pilot vanishing point, like the nib broke? Oh, goodness. You know what this is? It's the combination of this nib feel. This nib, the size, the barrel. This is the Hongdian. I always have to check if it's a fine or medium. It's a fine, but it writes beautifully, and it has just enough feedback where it's not too scratchy, but it's enough to grab onto the paper and keep me engaged and connected to my journaling session. Of course, I have this in the Hongdian black, but this is still, you guys, this is still my daily writer. I would say, like, if you are thinking about getting the TWSBI, I know I'm getting off topic. We're supposed to talk about Asvine, but if you made it this far into the video, I'm just going to share some other off-topic thoughts. But if you are not sure if you want to invest in a TWSBI 580, you know, the $80 one, or maybe you're just trying to get familiar with fountain pens, I strongly recommend the Hongdian N12. The only downside is that, again, you can't see the ink, but not everyone likes the clear demonstrator. Some people find it tacky. Some people find it ugly, or they think it looks cheap. You know, like, I like it. That's what drew me to the TWSBI brand, because I thought fountain pens were for kind of, you know, stuffy the aristocratic people. You know, it's just something that you would see like in the movies, like all the rich business people would use that. The rich business executive men would use that. And that's why I was really surprised that people still use fountain pens when I was in the journaling community, because I thought that was a thing of the past. But I'm so glad it's still here. And I'm so glad there's different designs, especially modern designs, because it can appeal to people with different tastes, different preferences. And yeah, like, this is so fun. Like, these TWSBIs are so fun. I feel like they kind of have like a youthful look and appeal to them. And then you guys know I always share like the Banus. The Banus are definitely like wild in an interesting way. Like, I never would have thought a fountain pen could look like this, like a glitter magical wand. So it's fun because anyone from different, you know, age ranges can get into these. They're not all going to be like the classic executive looking pens, which I thought was all there was. But back to the N12, I wish there were more color variations. You only have like 6 to choose from. But I think if you care more for the feel of the fountain pen versus like the look, you don't care about the aesthetics, you might really like this. So give this a try on Amazon. I use this. I reach for it more than my TWSBI because the girth, the barrel is girthier. Oh my gosh. Thank you, by the way, for, I forgot her username. You know who you are. You helped me. Thank you so much. Remember, my TWSBI was like spinning right here, and it was because I needed to push down this part, that the nib comes undone, and somehow it got loose. And I really had to like dig my nail like really like down and then like twist it, and it worked. So like you could see this thing doesn't even twist. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I love this fountain pen community because, you know, without the internet, like how would I have learned to fix that? I just would have thought it was broken, or I just would have sat there By the way, 2 weeks later, and Twisby never emailed me back, but that's okay. That's okay, because blessing in disguise, that is what led me to my 2 new Pilot fountain pens. I know I should not be teasing you guys, but again, remember, this video is all about the Asvine. In my next fountain pen, I will... Should I give you guys a sneak peek? Let me see. Okay, hold on. If you made this far, I feel like it's only right to give you a little peek, right? A little reward. Let me... Hold on. One of them... Okay, hold Well, I'll just... Oh, okay, I can't. I'm gonna keep... No, I'm gonna wait till next video. Okay, guys, until then, bye.